What's up, Taiwan? Good morning. I'm Liao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off with the latest about the COVID-19 situation here, 2 more children under the age of 5 have died of COVID. The deaths have prompted questions about when the country will start vaccinating its youngest citizens. John Van Trieste has this report.
Taiwanese officials announced the deaths of a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old from COVID-19, bringing the total now to 4 children who have died in the country from the virus. Experts are puzzled that 3 of these children also had encephalitis, swelling of the brain. It's a condition that a growing number of children with severe COVID have, but seemingly only in Taiwan.
目前观察到有这个脑炎、儿童脑炎比较增加的地方，也就只有香港跟我们，然后邻近的日本、韩国似乎没有看到类似的一个报告，所以是不是说跟我们这个华人的遗传或者是代谢等等这些有关的一些部分，或者您提到的环境因子，这种都是有可能。
Efforts to vaccinate children will get a boost on Wednesday, when Taiwan will start giving the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine to children as young as 5. That's on top of the Moderna vaccine, which it's already giving to children as young as 6.
BNT 或者辉瑞的疫苗，那到5到11岁的我们是有77万剂嘛，那一定会够了哈。
But younger children, like those whose deaths were just announced, will still have to wait. Health Minister Chen Shizhong says that the Moderna vaccine has shown promise for small children in U.S. trials, and that Taiwan will ask Moderna to share its data if the U.S. gives its vaccine emergency approval for use with small children. But even then, the health minister says, it will still be at least July before Taiwan starts giving it to its own small children. Klein Wang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is encouraging the development of geothermal power to diversify the country's energy sources. The Ministry of Economic Affairs is offering up to $3.4 million to explore new geothermal sites. The incentives are for local governments that can attract investors and for developers who explore new wells. They're encouraged to learn from the success of the Qingsui geothermal power plant in Yilan, the first privately built geothermal plant in Taiwan. Geothermal energy is a type of renewable energy taken from the Earth's core. Taiwan has pledged to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2050. It aims to increase the share of renewables in its electricity supply to at least 60% by then. Taiwan's Ministry of Justice is considering enacting hate crime legislation. This comes after the May 15th shooting in California targeting Taiwanese churchgoers. U.S. authorities say the suspect harbored resentment toward Taiwanese and has been linked to pro-China groups. Rick Glauert reports.
Taiwan's Vice President, William Liao, lights a candle in memory of John Cheng, a Taiwanese-American doctor who was shot dead in an attack on a Taiwanese church in California just over a week ago. A few days later, 68-year-old Taiwanese-American David Cho was charged with first-degree murder for allegedly opening fire on members of Irvine Taiwanese Presbyterian Church, killing Cheng and injuring 5 others. Authorities say they found handwritten notes by Zhou expressing hatred of Taiwan. And he has been linked to groups promoting a Chinese takeover of Taiwan. China's ruling Communist Party sees Taiwan as part of its territory and has ramped up threats to take the island by force. Taiwan has deep historical and cultural links to China, but how it defines the current relationship is at the root of many political and social divisions in the country. The California church shooting has rattled Taiwanese Americans at home and abroad. On Sunday, Taiwan's de facto ambassador to the US, Xiaobi Kim, worshipped with the Irvine Taiwanese Presbyterian Church. She said the attack ran counter to Taiwan's values.
I think our work has always been to build a democracy where people can express differences through peaceful ways. And again, we condemn any use of violence and hatred in expressing different views.
Following the shooting, activists and lawmakers in Taiwan have pushed for hate crime legislation, which the Justice Ministry on Monday said it would consider.
我们可以收集外国的立法例，然后再邀学者专家一起来讨论。如果认为在我们现行的法律不够周延，要纳入的话，那我们可以来想办法来立法。
The attack overseas has highlighted the potential for violence over Taiwanese people's differing views on China, prompting introspection and a commitment from the country's leaders to tackle hate. Patrick Chen and Rick Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Yesterday, May 24th, marked 3 years since Taiwan's landmark same-sex marriage law came into effect. In 2019, Taiwan became the first country in Asia to legalize marriage between people of the same gender. But as Rick Liao reports, many LGBTQ families are still struggling.
Yushan and Jiaying have been together for 5 years and want to start a family.
因为我们很想要小孩，然后所以其实就很想要陪伴孩子长大，想知道养一个孩子的过程。
Since 2019, same-sex marriage has been legal in Taiwan, but the law does not include the right to joint adoption or artificial reproduction. So Yushan and Jiaying have avoided getting married so that Jiaying can adopt a child as a single person.
我觉得是最主要，为什么要改，就是为了孩子的权益。对，没错，就是如果孩子真的生病或什么的，但万一他只有我一个的保障，对，就会觉得这样就是有损孩子的权益。基本上，因为我们是2个一起的。
Yushan and Jiaying are just one of the hundreds of same-sex couples in Taiwan who have the right to legally marry, but still face hurdles that heterosexual couples do not. Taiwan has one of the largest and most visible LGBTQ communities in the region. It's often described as a beacon of liberalism or the best place to be gay in Asia. But the historic 2019 same-sex marriage law came amid a conservative backlash, and key rights, such as adoption, were not included. 3 years later, and those gaps have still not been filled. In a 2018 referendum, most voters chose a new, separate law for same-sex unions rather than changing Taiwan's definition of marriage as between a man and a woman. This was seen by the LGBTQ community as a blow, which pushed what they call true equality off the table. The law ultimately passed by the legislator left out more sensitive issues, such as the right to raise children. Recent polls suggest support for the LGBTQ community has grown since then. And earlier this month, lawmakers made the first step in proposing an amendment to the same-sex marriage law to allow joint adoption. But for now at least, LGBTQ Taiwanese looking to start a family are forced to work around an unequal system. Freddie Hung, an elementary school teacher in Taiwan's capital and a bisexual man, is in the process of using a surrogacy service abroad. It is an expensive and risky process.
所以我到现在还是只是受精卵的阶段，就是卡在那里都没办法到下一个阶段，所以我觉得蛮悲惨的。
Taiwan's LGBTQ community fought for decades for the right to legally marry. And despite the pride and celebrations over the last 3 years, there's still a way to go until they can feel they've achieved true equality. Karma Xu, Piper Yu, and Rick Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Researchers in Argentina have discovered a new species of pterosaur. Those were huge flying reptiles that lived alongside dinosaurs 86 million years ago. The fossil was found in the Andes mountain about 1,000 kilometers from Buenos Aires. It measures around 9 meters in length. That's as long as a yellow school bus, making it one of the largest pterosaurs in the world. The researchers say they named their discovery the Dragon of Death because it was essentially a massive flying predator. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of the aquatic plant pool at Taipei Zoo. The pool attracts animals such as capybaras and spider monkeys, which love to play or eat in the waters. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time.
In a changing world, when voices are being silenced, TaiwanPlus is listening. We tell those stories. No compromise, no boundaries,
people in Taiwan.
no fear.
I want to study Chinese. I'm Ryan Kilpatrick.
Capital Taipei.
TaiwanPlus.
TaiwanPlus News.